Hello, this is Justin McCullough with Capital One Spark Business, and we're at Small Business Festival. I've got Jeff with us. Jeff, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and your business?
Yeah, thanks, Justin. My name's Jeff Hutchings. As you mentioned, I work at Dell. So I'm a little bit different than the other companies that are here. I've been at Dell the last 17 years. The last 4 years specifically working with small businesses in sales and in merchandising and marketing. We're very thankful and happy to be part of the Small Business Festival, not only because it's here in Austin, but because we can touch so many small businesses and tell them about what services they can get from us, and how we can support them.
That's great. So obviously we're here supporting small business as well with Capital One. And so I see a lot of kinship, right? I heard you on the stage and we were both talking about our passions for a small business owner. Why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of the regular life of a customer that comes to you guys with small business problems? What's that look like?
We have quite a few customers that call us on a daily basis, actually hundreds of customers. And right now we have agents in Nashville, Tennessee, and here in Round Rock, Texas, just north of Austin. The customers that call us are between 1 employee and 100 employees, so a vast range of different customers. So the problems are unique.
Yeah, sure.
The unique not only for them, but for their futures, where they're wanting to aspire to go. So our sales agents really get to know the customers and get to know their aspirations as well as their current issues, so they can tailor the solution for them specifically. That's what we've been doing for quite some time, but in the last couple of years we've honed in on more specifically exactly what their issues are, spending more time with the customers, getting in depth with the customers to know what their issues are, even if that takes half a day.
Right.
We'll spend the time with them and make sure that we know how we can help them with their solution.
So these are more than salespeople, they're advisors, right? I mean, they're really spending time to understand sort of what's going on with that customer, where they are, if they're a one person or a growing customer, if they have scaling needs and all that, correct?
Absolutely. And in fact, when I talk to the sales agents, I tell them, treat this as it's your own father or mother that's starting a small business up, or a brother or sister. And I take that personally. My father was a small business owner, so I know what it's like to have aspirations and see those flourish. And the last thing you're thinking about is IT. You're thinking about taking care of customers. You're thinking about making sure that you have the lights on for the first year so you can grow in the years in the future. And you're thinking about the cause that you're doing this for. And then IT comes second.
That's right.
I learned that when I was younger from my father, and now I see it every day with our sales advisors, sales agents that talk to our customers, and they take the same approach, getting to know them very intimately so they can have custom solutions for them.
Yeah. So one of the things that I know our small business owners are challenged with is there's a lot of technology out there. There's a lot of things that are available, like Google will show you anything, right? So how do these folks, start to really discover the kinds of questions they should ask? How do your advisors really walk them through like the fit that's right for them? Like, can you tell me a little more about that?
I can, and you're right. There's a lot of people out there that have products for small business. It's interpreting how you're going to use them or the needs that they fulfill that's important. And it's harder to do that on a website, which we have a wonderful website, so do a lot of suppliers. But having somebody who can ask you the specific questions is important. So we start off by asking them specifically about their business, where they see themselves in the future, what issues do they have today, which is usually where it starts, and then custom tailor, as I said earlier, how our solutions can fit into that need or want. But the questions can vary. Some of them come into, how do I finance this product? Some of them come into, how do I need a hyper cloud? Do I need cloud at all for a small business? Do I need a server? Do I need multiple servers? Those questions come up throughout the conversation.
Yeah, so I think I just saw somebody on the other side of the screen there go, what exactly is a cloud anyway for my small business? Like, can you tell me what that is?
It can be confusing. I talked a little bit about it. I will plug, if you're confused about that, that's what the agents are for.
Okay, great. So just call them up and say, hey, what's this cloud business about?
That's right, and I think a lot of them will be surprised that they use the cloud more than they know already.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's as they grow bigger. What about hypercloud? Do they need some on-premise hardware for part of it? for security reasons or for cost reasons. And then as they grow bigger and bigger, do they need virtualization? Those are all questions that can be answered in the discovery process, talking to it.
Do you find that they actually know what those words mean and sort of what to ask for, or is that a part of the education process?
It's part of the education process. It's complicated. And like I said earlier, the small businesses aren't necessarily selling or consulting on technology. They're focused more on their personal product or their growth. So they need help from time to time to make sure that they're getting what's going to work for them now or in the future. And technology is ever changing.
So what I'm hearing, and I think this is probably really important for these folks at home, is you're saying, like, you don't have to be the pros. You're the pro, right? Your team is there. You don't have to have all the answers. You're ready to answer the questions. You're ready to tell them what maps to what those needs are, right?
That's exactly
So you can
right.
take all the mystery out of it. You can take all the heartburn out of it. Don't have to Google search everything. Don't have to take a class over it. They can just pick up the phone and call you guys, right?
That's exactly right.
So maybe a dentist or a doctor or a boutique or a retailer, could you just maybe tell us a story about a customer who is that you're familiar with, or one of your sales advisors has kind of bubbled up to the surface and said, look, this is what he was going through and this is what we did for him.
So you must have seen my presentation earlier today. So we had the example I gave was a great one for that question. We had a few years ago had a customer who was starting his first dental practice, and really the only thing he came with is they needed a certain software that they were using. So the
Probably proprietary to
the dentist, and we had an agent talk to him about, okay, we understand that you have the software that you need it to work a specific way, but where do you see yourself in a year or 2 years, 3 years, etc. So they could cater what they were getting for that specific dentist at that specific time. And what happened is he ended up getting a server, a few desktops, a switch, a couple of notebooks, a UPS backup, etc. In almost a year, it might have been a year and a half's time, his practice grew. And his practice grew just like he thought it might. And because he was set up the right way and had that consultation sales experience up front, all he had to do when he grew was add a few more notebooks, a few more desktops, and maybe one more hard drive in the server. That was a perfect example of somebody that we were able to get deep with up front, who only knew what software they were going to use, but not exactly what was going to power it. And it was a success story in the long run.
Yeah, so I'm picturing, I'm a little bit of a geek too on the tech side, but I'm picturing this guy like, I have to have this software. I know I need some phones. I know I have to have a couple of computers. I'm going to have somebody running a computer at the front. I need a computer in the back. I'm not sure how they're all connected. I know I need some hardware, and I know there's other stuff, right? That's probably the nature of that conversation, right? He's saying like, I for sure need these things, and then the advisor tells the rest of the story, right? And says, okay, that's all great for your current needs, but what happens when you get 2 offices? What happens when you get 3 offices, right? Is that sort of how that unfolds?
That's exactly right. And too many times I hear stories of that same example of the same type of person that reaches out to an IT firm out there to do the consulting for them, not knowing that there are places like Dell and others that will do that consultation and sell them what they need for free.
So as a quick wrap up, as we think about the folks who are listening in, and obviously they know about your brand, they know about your services now, you've shared about some products, what would you encourage them to do, no matter where they are in the journey, to actually take advantage of a sales advisor? What would you tell them?
Great question. So I would say if you are familiar with our products and you're not familiar exactly with our sales agents, you can go to Dell.com for work and you can learn a lot about not only the products we sell, but about our sales agents as well. While you're on there, there is a lot of different products, but those products themselves need to be tailored to you, to your product. If you know what you need, you can purchase online. But really, having that vision of where you're going to be next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, it takes a little consultation. And that's what we had. We've had it for a while, but specifically in the last few years, we've honed into small business specifically in our merchandising and our products and in our sales advisors.
That's wonderful. So I know a lot of small business owners struggle with technology, and it sounds like a big invitation here to lean in and make a phone call to these guys and let them help you. It's not as hard as you might think it is. So thank you so much for being here with us, Jeff. I'm Justin McCullough. This is the Small Business Festival.